Hey everyone, I'm Reagan Weiss along with
Joey Deeb, co-founders
of The Hub.
I'd just like to start off by prefacing this by saying it's not just us. It's all of our core members of this group that made this. We have a lot of people that have worked hard, put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. Can't mention all of them because there's so many, but we love you all.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough for every single one of you, and you know who you are, to be involved with this. And a lot of people are asking, why? Why The Hub? Let me tell you why The Hub. The Hub is a place that not just business owners are going to collaborate. It's where our community members are going to collaborate, where ideas are bounced off of one another. We just want to help people. We want to be there. We want to unify not just our businesses, but we want to unify our community. We don't want to hear about the negativity. We don't want to hear. There are so many other places out there that you could hear about the negativity in our community, and this will not be the place.
Our group can be a basis for so many different resources, for so many different trades and industries. It's not just isolated to one specific trade or construction or cleaning or any of that. Everybody can come to the Hub to get actual references from real people using these business and utilizing them to see what kind of experiences they've had.
Now, the key word is collaboration, right? And you see that a lot lately, like collaboration. Well, it really is about collaboration. If I didn't know to collaborate with my friends behind the camera, Jordan Long, if I didn't know how to collaborate with all these other people, all these individuals involved, you wouldn't know about us because of those people. Strength are in numbers. So just like Joey said, it's every industry. We want to hear from how your experiences were with your restaurants. We want to hear your cleaning people, your contractors, your roofing companies. I mean, every industry out there, your masseuses, your salon. We want to hear real experiences from real people. And one more thing, very, very important, we're not going to allow networking. When we say networking, I just want to be very specific on this. And people say, oh, well, you're kind of pushing people away. No, we're not, because there are specific network groups that post and tag people without ever utilizing their business. And we don't want that. We want real experiences.
You're not forced to recommend somebody simply because you're in the same group.
Right.
And that's what we want. And it's not just about business either.
Right.
It's about charity and giving. We want a local hub for events to help people.
We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Look for Hub ads on the radio. Look for the Hub bus on the Pasco County Public Transportation System. Look in Facebook and please share this, and let's grow this positive thinking, forward momentum community. We love you, Tampa Bay.
Join the Hub and grow with us.
See you soon.
BetUS.com. If you guys are betting on the games, whether it's NFL, NCAA, of course, you're not going to do that now. Maybe basketball, not football, but of course, the NHL, NBA, go to BetUS.com. You get a 125% sign-up bonus. And also, if you use this code right here, the promo code of TSW22, which, by the way, stands for the sports web, TSW22, or call that number 1-800-69-BET-US. Again, 1-800-69-BET-US, and put in that promo code TSW22, and I would really appreciate that.
I've had 27 beers spilled on me. Make that 28.
I've only got one place to go before the game.
BetUS.com.
Sign up at BetUS.com and get the best bonuses in the industry.
Hey, Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.
a special edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television here on a Sunday night, getting you ready for Tampa Bay Bandit football. The Tampa Bay Bandits take on the Pittsburgh Maulers here in the return of the USFL after a 37-year hiatus. How do we start off the Evolution of Sports Talk Television? Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. We will go up until the game is coming on. Go about 30 minutes. Take your phone calls. Get your reactions for the first week of the USFL, as it did well last night with the 3 million viewers. Today, it's been a little bit rough. Inclement weather has delayed some games. Attendance necessarily isn't there, but that's okay. We've got the Tampa Bay Bandits taking on the Pittsburgh Maulers. And what better way to talk about Tampa Bay's great history when it comes to bandit ball than to get this guy on right here. So glad to have him back on the show. Mr. Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. Welcome to the Evolution. And my man, you got to be excited about this moment. The Tampa Bay Bandits are back. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television live here on I Love St. Pete, the Hub, and Amped Up Sports. How you doing tonight? Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, brother. Yeah, we're excited about it. I was like same thing with you. Fox being the owner of the league this time, they posed it as at one point it would have just been this is something that would carry programming for the slow down time. Of course, it's kind of with baseball seasons just getting rolling, and then you have hockey and NBA going into the playoffs, but big showing there on the first night, last night's game. And, bandit ball, Tampa Bay, we remember bandit ball back from 83 through 85. We had three winning seasons and made the playoffs in 84 and 85. And, at that time, the Bandits were outdrawing the Buccaneers here at the old Big Sombrero. So, people are a little excited. I think people, especially it's Easter, we're spending time with their families. So people are going to kind of take a look at it with maybe a little bit of keep them at arm's distance. But at the end of the day, I think you're going to find out that, they got Jordan Tamau, that quarterback. The kid did great with the Firehawks back in the XFL a few years back. He's been on like 8 or 9 practice squads. We've got that's who Todd Haley, the coach of their Bandits, went after, was a solid quarterback. And I think we can expect to see some good things out of that kid tonight. It is their first game, 36-team squad, so you're not maybe going to be used to seeing those 60-man squads with the big practice tents and people running around. But at the end of the day, it's still football.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still football. I'm excited about it. I know there's not a lot of pregame shows out there doing it. We'll try to get you on halftime and also your postgame edition of the Sports Web talking about your Bandits. First and foremost, though, let's get out to these comments and then we'll get back to it because we got a lot of comments here. Troy Palamayu says first, good stuff. Roger Shue says happy Easter to everyone. Olga says been watching the USFL football since yesterday. So excited to be able to watch football again. First 2 games I saw, very exciting. Let's go Tampa Bay Bandits. Woo. Woo! There we go right there. And talk about this. I mean, it seems like the defense is most likely ahead of the offense, although we saw some big plays on that first night of football between the New Jersey Generals and because I'm missing my
Birmingham Stallions.
Birmingham Stallions, who basically are the home team at this point. Somewhat of a unfair home field advantage, right? Tampa Bay Ray?
And, and here's the thing, right? For travel purposes, they're going to play the whole season there. And I like what they're doing there at the new stadium they built out there. It's an adult ticket is $10 and you can bring up to 3 kids for free. It's about putting butts in those seats. And Peter and you and I have talked about how to put butts in the seats at Tropicana Field. Almost want to look for a plan, something maybe similar to that. But the hometown crowd's excited about it. And, logistics from that first year, from a logistics standpoint, it just made sense to keep all the teams in one central location, get the season in, get a little bit of that flavor rolling. You saw it last night, with that simulcast being on both NBC and Fox last night. The last time we saw that was in 2007, last game of the NFL season. Tom Brady and the Patriots were on their way to a perfect season, and that game was scheduled to be on the NFL Network. And at that point, the networks, being CBS and Fox, both decided to air those games simultaneously, and that's a feat that hadn't happened since Super Bowl I back in 1967. So you're seeing networks that are, from that standpoint, because in the past when you've got these spring leagues, the NFL had a problem with them. That's not the case. The NFL's officiating officiating pipeline is going to be working these games. They're looking at some new rules. The NFL is also using developmental come out of the XFL with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in 2023. You got the networks locking it down. So you've basically got already half the recipe going. You just got to sprinkle in the fans, see what the viewers look like. And at the end of the day, just get it on.
All right, and get it on. We got Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, Best of the Bay, a Bucks Report, a former platform I used to be a part of. Very proud of that. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And, we've talked about it, some familiar faces and names. You talked about the quarterback. It starts right there, number 2 overall, Jordan Ta'amu, if I can get his name right. 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, led in completion percentage, and led St. Louis the Battlehawks of the XFL to a 3-2 record. A lot of excitement because not only do you pair him with a Todd Haley and a Bob Sanders, who has worked under Haley before, but you look at this defensive staff, Carnell Lake and Pepper Johnson, some great names there that in NFL's past, right?
Yeah, and that's in Tampa Bay. That's how Tampa Bay football fans like their football. Give us some offense, but make sure we got that defense locked down. And like you said, it's going to be just like it is in any NFL season each year. The first couple of weeks, the defense seems to always come out ahead, but we did see some one-handed catches and some nice offensive plays last night. So, and with Todd Haley, of course, the former tight ends coach, former offensive coordinator with the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's got an offensive mind. And so, yeah, they're going to look to lock it down and get that defense going there. And it's early, it's going to take a minute or two, but I just keep thinking in the back of my mind that bandit ball, 1st and 10, do it again, bandit ball. When Jerry Reeves, of course, was one of the original owners there. John Bassett was the owner of the original Bandits team, and then of course Burt Reynolds was a minority owner, and he had his good buddy from the Smoking the Bandit days, Jerry Reeves, did that bandit ball song. And those are some good times here in Tampa Bay. So maybe it's just from an oldie but a goldie standpoint. I'm just looking to rekindle some of that old fire back when Bandits could run out there and cause a little trouble. And maybe we're not going to see Eric Trevelyan and Gary Anderson and John Reeves, but hopefully we're going to see some good brand of Tampa Bay football.
How much were they over? Because, I remember, this is kind of before my time, but remember reading and seeing videos on YouTube. How popular was bandit ball over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Go ahead and give the people out there that are kind of new to the USFL action in the past history of this bandits ball and how important it is to the Tampa Bay area.
Well, from a standpoint of the Buccaneers, those were some lean years. Doug Williams had just gotten away in '82. The team, we had Jack the Throwing Samoan Thompson, and we'd go for a decade trying to find an identity. And here along came this USFL team, and springs down here in Florida. We get the early summer weather on the weekends. You get the rain. Everybody's in a frisky mood. And all of a sudden you got Steve Spurrier, old ball coach, is coaching this team. Of course, he was the first Buccaneers quarterback, 1969 Heisman Trophy winner out of Florida. And he was leading that team. So the minute they get Spurrier and they start putting this team together, and then all of a sudden they start having the success that they did. And like I said, they were outdrawing the Buccaneers because at that point, Bucs fans were still here, but they'd gotten a little bit tired and a little bit down about the fact that our team was perennially 2-14, and we went from worst to first in '79, and by the time the Bandits got here, it was '83, and we were kind of back in that not so much of a decline, but we were in a recession. And Steve Spurrier, the offensive genius that Spurrier always has been and always was, and he just started making things happen. And again, a lot of the games were out there on Saturday nights as opposed to Sundays, so automatically it had like almost a mix between a professional football but with a college feel. And when you got Steve Spurrier risking it down the field, and again Eric Trevelyan, just the speediest receiver in the entire league, and we were packing the stadiums in over there. It was just a matter of going from the creamsicles to the red, black, and silver. But other than that, it was Tampa Bay, and they were rocking it.
Yeah, they were absolutely rocking it. And I think there's a lot of excitement, a lot of optimism about this team this year in 2022, especially with the pairing of a Haley and a Ta'amu, because if you look at it, Haley, some of his best years, with Big Ben, he was a main guy under Big Ben, get the most out of him. And you kind of look at Jordan and his body type, 6'4", 6'5", big quarterback, can also run. I mean, right now, DraftKings, and there's a lot of sites out there that are saying, the Bandits clearly are the favorite, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but the defensive side of the ball. They could have the most talented team in the league. Where do you stand? I get it, we haven't seen a game yet, but just on paper right now, pretty exciting stuff here with the Tampa Bay Bandits, right?
I mean, not just that, just by guilt by association, they even though they're playing their games in Birmingham this season, they are an official member of Tampa Bay. And so by that variation alone, that championship pedigree rubs off on them. But, that's just that, optimism for another day. But yeah, you talk about, I remember when they announced that Todd Haley was the coach, because we're wondering after what happened with the XFL last season, and wasn't it, or even the AAF when you and I were locking it down there down at Fergs, Pete, covering the game days for the Orlando Apollo. And it was like, okay, who are we going to reach for? Okay, Jerry Glanville's 110 years old. We like that cat. Steve Spurrier's still trying to get a ring out of Orlando because he felt he won that. The AAF, the Apollos, we felt they were on a trajectory to win the AAF there that year. But all of a sudden, you say Todd Haley. And you have a couple of coaches in this league. It's not just that they went out and just got any retired, hung them up coach that wanted to come back. They've got some coaches across it alone that's going to make some of this brand of football exciting. So again, they're locking it down with Fox cover. Fox is the owner of the league, so they've got the coverage for the entire season. All the games will be aired. So now it's that they've got to show up and show out on the field there and show us some good football. And then we'll get down the road. We'll talk about developmental. Like I said, they're already using the NFL officiating pipeline in the USFL. These officials you're going to see out here are the NFL. These are some of their developmental officials that no doubt you'll see them on the field at some point. But go back to the Tampa Bay Bandits in the early 80s. Nate Newton, probably one of the most longest lasting careers after he was with the Bandits. He goes on and has a 12-year Pro Bowl career type with the Dallas Cowboys, monster defensive lineman. So, can I point out a Nate Newton night one? I don't think any of us can, but I think that's part of the interest is let's see some of these kids that are getting another chance to strap them up and run out between the hash marks out there. And then maybe it happens for them, but if nothing else, just want to see it, have the success so they can continue doing this. And I don't even want to talk about whether they're a threat to the National Football League. I think at this point, we're just looking for people to be nice, and DraftKings and FanDuel and your sports books are going to have lines on these games. So there's another way to generate revenue down the road as well.
And we would usually have Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago Sports. But unfortunately, he's a little bit under the weather in the hospital. So our prayers are out to my buddy. Get better very soon. We'll get you back on the sports web. And I think, we're on with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay, a Bucks report here live on the evolution of sports talk television. It's the sports web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. I think that is the reason why people are excited. They're not competing against the NFL. And we know that in some terms, that's a good thing, because when you try to compete versus the NFL, you just can't do it. They're number one for a reason. On top of it, you're a developmental league. You start to see drone cam. I'll tell you what, let's talk about some of these rule changes that are kind of exciting that we've seen here the last couple of days with the USFL. Your thoughts on those?
I saw the drones last night. Got a little bit of work to go there. You're going to also start seeing some of the in camp. I'll tell you what I like, Pete, right off the bat is the you can have more than one forward pass as long as it remains in back of the line of scrimmage. I know that sounds a little hokey, and you start thinking, the Music City Miracles or plays where there's option passes or stuff. But, you're talking about, sucker the defense over with a screen pass and then possibly throw it to the other side with another screen pass. And as long as it's behind the line of scrimmage, you've got an option to, again, throw it down the field. I really like the overtime. The overtime rules is basically each team's going to get 3 shots from the 2-yard line. Each team goes, then the other team. You get 3 shots from the 2-yard line. If you score, it's 2 points. So if both teams do score all 3 times, that's 6 points they got in overtime, and then it goes to sudden death. But I think that's going to possibly, as the NFL just changed, or at least for the playoffs in 2022, changes the NFL overtime rules. I think this is another set of those overtime rules where if we're gonna say after 60 minutes, we've got to make sure both teams get the ball because, it's trophy participation day and everybody needs a shot. I'm kidding. But that's right. another rule I like. Also, where was it? Basically, I like the extra points. Peter, what are your thoughts on the extra point? You go for 1 from the 15 with a kick. You go from 2 from the 2-yard line for a 2-point conversion, or you can go from the 10 for a 3-point conversion. So now there's more ways to score, and it's going to throw those mix them scores up a little bit. And I think that's at the end of the day, isn't that what, as much as we like to see the defense, really, we'd like to see that as much offense as we possibly can.
Well, it's innovative. I mean, and that's what you get with these new leagues. And it, like you said, it's not hokey. It's innovative. And I think eventually maybe the NFL will, still some of these things because they've done in the past. They've done it with the XFL and the AAF and all these leagues that have started up in the spring. And you just hope. And I saw today, I think it's more of the inclement weather than the interest because I think the interest is there, although it's really tough. I think that's the toughest aspect of it. Watching the Tampa Bay Bandits, you like to watch them at Raymond James Stadium or somewhere around the Bay Area, and you're not going to get the opportunity to. And to me, of course, the Birmingham team, the Stallions, really have the advantage at this point, I think. Yeah. But you watch the attendance, you hope they can duplicate that, not just with Birmingham, but with the other teams. I think weather, more than anything else, played a part in it. But going back to the original factor, I think I love the innovativeness of the USFL, and I love the fact that you have a 1, 2, 3 point conversion. And I think the NFL should look into that. Those are the type of things where you feel like the NFL eventually will steal that and make it a lot better in their league.
And you know what else they're doing too is number one on the punts, the gunners have to stay inside. There's no more gunners on the outside or basically gunners running down the field. So you got to assume that bringing those outside, the gunners, I'll keep saying that until I guess I get tired of it, bringing them inside is probably going to generate more of a punt return or more return yardage. And in a day and age where we're talking about the national 85% or somewhere thereabouts of all your kickoffs or touchbacks, now in the USFL, they're moving it back to the 25-yard line, which basically guarantees you there won't be touchbacks. I mean, unless you've got that weather or you got the wind at your back and the kicker gets a kick of it. So, you're right from the very get-go, from the moment toe meets leather, you're talking about more of a setup for return, generating more offense like that. So some innovative things. And, and then also, Pete, I don't know if you read about this one, but all the replays will be controlled by the Fox Center out in LA. The Fox Center is where all the replays, just like the NFL does with New York, right?
Sure.
But reviewable now in the USFL is a personal foul. They can review a hit to the quarterback. They can review. So I don't know if it goes this far, but let's take into account that the taunting last year when that young player looked toward the sidelines and they throw a 15-yard penalty because they thought he was taunting the punter, which we all knew was ridiculous. But I don't know if that's one of them, but personal fouls now are reviewable in the Fox Control Center there in LA. So we'll see how that goes. We want to protect the players. No spearing, no hitting. We want to make sure. But at the same time, if you roll in and you don't touch a quarterback or there's no contact or it's inadvertent, the Fox Control Center out in LA has the ability to overturn that personal foul. Does it move the needle immediately? I don't know, but that's another one of those innovative things that we might look at, or the NFL and Roger Goodell might, or Rich McKay and the competition committee might look at it and go, yeah, that worked pretty well. We have to wait till we have to see it in principle before we know for fact.
No, absolutely. I tell you what, let's go out to these comments, read them from these guys. Roger Shue says Bandits over the Bucks. This is what you get for that. Troy Polamayu says, see you at Duckies for the draft. That's fake news. That's not happening. Sorry. See you at work tomorrow. Not true. We don't work together. I don't even know who you are. Olga says, go Bandits. Absolutely. We'll give you a woo. Woo! All right, let's go out to Christopher Cole. Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter, Mr. Christopher Cole. Thanks a lot for tuning in as always. Troy Polamayu, when are you to talk about the Tampa Bay rivalry between USF and UT, University of Tampa? I don't even know what you're saying. Let's go out to Cole here. Here comes Bandit Ball, baby. Whose idea was it to start the league on Easter Sunday? Seems a bit weird. Love the pregame coverage. Thanks, Peter. Boo Stallions and why? 2 words. Skip Holtz, go USF Bulls and Bandits. Of course, Skip somewhat struggled here with USF, but you're happy to see him pick up his first win. But of course, the Bandits ball. Once again, Cole, big time fan here. Peter, the Bandits were the most popular team in the league by attendance, second in 83, first in 84 and 85. So some steep tradition here. We talked about the quarterback position. You also look at the running backs, Edmonds there, Washington. They could have not only the best running backs in the league, but the best wide receivers. I'm expecting some offensive fireworks. Are you expecting the same thing from Todd Haley and his crew versus the Pittsburgh Maulers?
Yeah, I definitely think that, he's going to open it up, but we're talking about these cats. They talk about they've only been in camp for less than a month. They're just getting to meet each other. They haven't really had a whole lot of, full pad practice. That being said, I think you can derive an offense on 7-on-7 drills. If you've got Tom Brady at quarterback, you can draw it up in the sand. But truth of the matter is, I do believe Todd Haley is going to be offensive minded, but I also think those defensive side of that ball is going to say, hey, let's not just get ourselves into a bad situation, because I think that most people out here will agree. Most Bandit fans, it's weird saying that again, but most Bandit fans would agree is we want to see the offense, but not at the cost of turning the ball over and making it too easy for the Pittsburgh Maulers to score. So I think he finds that. But I was always impressed with Todd Haley and his offensive mind. And you're right. Jordan has the same body at 6'3", 6'4", 220, has a similar build to a Ben Roethlisberger, but definitely more mobile. And I think that he'll use that to the Bandits' advantage tonight.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what he can do, because here's a guy that has all this NFL experience with the Kansas City Chiefs and also the Pittsburgh Steelers, was coaching down at Riverview High School. He was talking about that. On the other side of the ball, the Maulers have Kirby Wilson, former running back coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and consequently, he has, as our guy would say, here the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, the Tiny 10, Big Ten tailbacks, Garrett Grochek from Wisconsin and Madre London from Michigan State. You're looking at quarterbacks right now, Love, and I'm trying to think of the other guy's name at this point, but guys that have potential, but more than anything else, you're definitely going to depend on that running game when it comes to Wilson and the Maulers offense, right?
Yeah, and you're also going to see, like we said, as far as those, these coaches, they score a touchdown. Do you just go for the one? I mean, in this day and age, gosh, how from the 15-yard line, that's a 32-yard field goal. And we've seen that. The thing about it is kickers are probably one of those positions that you've got a plethora, Leo word.
Well, look at you.
I thought I'd throw one in there, but you've got a plethora. Maybe you have a solid enough kicker, and that may be one of your top teams in the USFL for the 2022 season. May be somebody who has a kicker. It's a shame if a Borgales, for example, the kid out of Miami who's with the Buccaneers still on a practice squad, that they couldn't have a relationship where you couldn't let this kid go. And wouldn't it be sweet if down the road, if the Bandits and the Bucks actually had a pipeline between each other, where the Bucks, if it got to be of a developmental league enough, where the Bucks could say, hey, take this guy, try this cat, let's see where this works out, or even coaching on an internship, maybe bringing coaches in and continuing to be the most diverse coaching staff in the entire National Football League. That is your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we can see it take it down to the USFL and the Tampa Bay Bandits, and then maybe when the XFL finally announces their team next year, they got to get some love too. Maybe we've got a third team. Who knows?
Yeah, no, absolutely. and the sky's the limit for this league, of course, once again being a developmental, but somebody said today, and I think it's on the comments here, that former Tampa Bay Buccaneer TJ Logan showing out today for the New Orleans Breakers, as they look like they're up 23-17. And that quarterback for the Maulers would be Kyle Lorletta, who was picked us a couple years ago. Plenty of experience. And you never know, like, just because these quarterbacks haven't necessarily made it to the National Football League, maybe the change of scenery, the league, the way it's set up, maybe this is that second opportunity or third opportunity that you give that player where eventually they may earn a starting spot on an NFL roster. Let's go back out to these comments here. Roger Sue says, prediction, guys, final score right now, it's 48.5 is the line, and the Bandits are favored by 2.5. So we'll get a prediction here in just a little bit. Bandits suck. Let's talk Bucks football. This is what you get. That comment right there. Troy Polamalu, keep the show going. Bring in Harry. Harry, like we mentioned, our prayers are out. He's in the hospital right now, not feeling so well. So my agent and beautiful mother, her birthday just passed. Hope you had a great birthday, great Easter, Mom. Watching the best sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area, the Sports Web with Amped Up Sports, Bet US, the hub, and I love St. Pete. You got to love that. She knows everything. Tampa Bay, yes. Troy Polamalu, why is Ray whispering?
Why am I whispering?
No, he's not whispering at all, but you can't give us that airline thing, right?
10-4-1 from financial stuff. No, actually, it's just because it echoes in here. I'm in this large room. I've been told that when I yell, I echo. But something else. I want to go back, Pete, if you don't mind. I know you're reading comments, but sure. You did mention the Birmingham Stallions. They do have that advantage all season, but when it gets to the postseason now, when you get to the postseason tournament, those games will be played at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium right there in Canton, Ohio. So a matter of just make that tournament, and then we go to a neutral site. And if the Bandits are playing there in that tournament there, we'll be getting ready to lock it down here with the Bucks coverage. Bucks will be coming into camp and getting the mini camps and the OTAs and stuff like that. But I don't know, maybe by then, Pete, they're smart enough, being the Bandits, to have you and I hired as their color and game day guys, and they fly us out there to cover that championship game there at the Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio.
Sounds good to me, my friend. Sounds good to me. Why not? Roger Shue says prayers for Harry. Absolutely. Drip says Stars fumbled, Breakers got the ball back, 4 minutes left. Breakers up 23-17. That would be the New Orleans Breakers. Of course, that would be the next matchup for the Tampa Bay Bandits. New Orleans, Tampa Bay. Stars got the ball back. Breakers missed the field goal. That's the one thing I've seen here. Kicking is not very good. So that's the reason why you could see teams going for not only a one conversion, but 2 and 3. And that makes it interesting because you saw a couple kicks miss last night. You saw a kick miss today. Now we're talking about another kick miss.
Well, Pete, have you actually seen it yet? Also, I don't know if we've seen it, to be honest with you. I didn't get the chance. I was at a picnic today and yesterday. I did catch last night's game, but teams have the ability, or they can make the decision, instead of kicking off after a score, they can take the ball for a 1 untimed down from their own 33-yard line. And if they get 12 yards, they keep the drive going. And if you don't, then you turn over the ball right there. Wow. You might see a Todd Haley or a Bandit ball do that tonight, and maybe a team just keeps rolling up. And I'll be interested to see that, because that's something we've talked about. We saw it with the other leagues, but we've talked about that. And when teams are down, to get it, teams are down by 20, an NFL team are down by 20 in the fourth quarter. It's an act of desperation, because you do turn it over at your 33. But then again, what is an onside kick but an act of desperation? But you put the ball in the best player's hands on your offense, and you get one shot at that untimed down for 12 yards. And if you continue it on, you just keep rolling down the field. So another little wrinkle that, they're going to mix it. And the NFL has not been shy about this and saying that these leagues could be places where we could, Rich McKay himself, I think it was last week, said these could be places where we definitely can have things tried and see how they work. And it gives us the information that we may need to make a better and educated decision on some of these rules.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It can always be changed. Nothing is perfect. All right, let's go out to Christopher Cole. Weather and that it's Easter Sunday probably played a role in the crowd today. I agree with you on that. Christopher Cole, once again, TJ Logan is balling out today, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Arizona Cardinal. One of the fastest times at his combine just a couple of years, I believe was 2017, 4.37. So he's always had potential. Good stream, good info about the league and other things related. Hope the Stars can win. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Call in if you guys want to. The number's up there. It's kind of been quiet today. I think you guys have just been kind of see how this goes, but we're gonna treat this as if it's the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You've seen our pregame shows here before on the sports web, so we'll continue to do what we do here. Do Bandits play in Tampa at all? Not this year. That's the disappointing aspect. Any news on the Bucs? Bandits suck. This is what you get for that. Just to update the roster right now, John Franklin III will not play. He's been transferred to the practice squad. Rashard Causey, cornerback. Renell Hall, cornerback. Also, I believe, another former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. 2 former Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Keith Mumphrey, wide receiver. Makai Brown, Jalen Booth, and Austrian Robinson, defensive lineman. So let's go to our predictions here. What do you expect? Fireworks here? Bandits win easily? Come on, give me a prediction, Tampa Bay, Ray.
I haven't seen what's the weather like there right now. I know it was awesome a little earlier. They had a lot of rain and the term, I don't know what the field's, because you got to imagine now this will be the 3rd game played on this field today. Sure. And if the weather is chopped up, like I don't think it's artificial turf. So if that field is pretty torn up, we're going to have to at least play with a little bit of caution, because the last thing we want to do is, with the shortened roster sizes that we have some type of injuries and stuff, because we're trying to get too crazy. But I think we'll see a few end arounds. I think we'll take it down the field. I'd like to see. You want a prediction for the score right now? Yeah,
give me a prediction for the score.
Bandits 35-17.
All right, I like 35-17. I like 27-17 Bandits over the Maulers here to pick up their first win. I think excitement and optimism is in the air, and why not with Todd Haley and this crew? And then you look at the defensive side of the ball. You got some good defensive players, but you got some good defensive coaches. Carnell Lake, Pepper Johnson. Yes. Oh, my. I tell you what, Ray, go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television as we wrap it up for the night.
Well, I want to, since I already went there, if you don't mind, I'm gonna take my moment here before they're trying to rush me off the stage. So I want to thank the Academy first of all. I want to thank all my people. But I did talk about the fact that last night's with being on NBC and Fox, the last time again was the 2007. It was when, Brady and the Patriots were on course for that perfect season. Of course, they didn't get there. They lose to the Giants in that Super Bowl. But I do want to take it back to Super Bowl I, 1967. The AFC, CBS was like, we cover the NFC. And then the NBC was like, well, we cover the AFC, and no one could decide who should cover it. So they both decided that they would both cover it. They used NBC's feed, and they went with it. True fact, guys, not a wives' tale. True fact. Come back from halftime at the kickoff. NBC doesn't get back from commercial in time. They kick the ball off. The referees on the field are told about this. They blow the whistle dead, and they re-kick it again to make sure they get it there on the game coverage. Try doing that today when you've got a 50 spot or you've got a large position on where the ball's going in the second half, who's going to return it, and God forbid it would have been a return for a touchdown. So I like that, but it just goes to my point is from 1967 all the way up now through 2022 and the USFL, the redo. It's always changing. It's constantly changing. So we got to keep ourselves open to situations like that. But thanks for having me on tonight, brother. I hope to talk with you again soon. Of course, you can find me on Cup of Ray on Bucks Report, filling in and about any place. I also write for Sports Talk Florida. So just, locking it down here. Looking forward to a great game tonight. Hopefully we can all get a game. Maybe we can get a game thread going on Facebook and kind of do all our comments as we go, because really that's what this is all about, is what we're all thinking about this game tonight.
It really is. It's all about the fan interaction here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television, the Sports Web, live on I Love St. Pete, the hub, and Amped Up Sports. Thanks a lot for your time, my friend. All right?
Every time, brother. Take care, Pete.
All right, there you go. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, a Bucks Report. Best of the Bay. Just joining me here as a co-host brings back so many memories, great times. Let's go ahead and read the comments, and then we'll get out of here and get you out to the game here between the Tampa Bay Bandits and Pittsburgh Maulers. The Bucks suck. You know what? You suck.
Shut up!
So do the Lightning. I'm sorry. I was too busy staring at the 2 straight Stanley Cup trophies. Let's go out to Fat Mike again. Chicago Sports, go Bears. Love you guys. 1252 Chicago Sports. Of course, on a show Friday nights called The Over Under with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. Love you guys there. See you at work, Pete. No, you won't. And which channel is it on? Fox Sports 1. So definitely tune in. Guys, we will be back. I think post-game, maybe not halftime. We'll see. Just keep it locked here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Thanks to my guest, Mr. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. We'll see you either at halftime or the post-game edition here of the evolution of Sports Talk Television as Tampa Bay Bandits ball is back versus the Pittsburgh Maulers. How do we end this thing? Really quick, quiz afterwards. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time, and it's your time. Have a great game, guys. See you later.
Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.
BetUS.com. If you guys are betting on the games, whether it's NFL, NCAA, of course, you're not going to do that now. Maybe basketball, not football. But of course, the NHL, NBA, go to betus.com. You get a 125% sign up bonus. And also, if you use this code right here, the promo code of TSW22, which by the way stands for the sports web, TSW22, or call that number 1-800-69-BET-US. Again, 1-800-69-BET-US, and put in that promo code TSW22, and I would really appreciate that.
I've had 27 beers spilt on me. Make that 28.
I've only got one place to go before the game.
BetUS.com.
Sign up at betus.com.